Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Go Mango Watch Along. No, this is our review of Mashin Sentai Kiramager, episode 33.
33.
Yeah, as always, I'm your host, the Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
The Cinder Blaze.
I'm Marisol.
Hey dudes, welcome back. We got done watching this episode yesterday so that you guys could comment on it, and we will talk about your comments, but before that, let's dive into our thoughts, and I thought, this is a good end to a two-parter. What they pulled this week, I don't know if I thought it was clever, because, like, most times it's like, oh yeah, wow, they really used the mechanics of this show well. But for me, it was like, oh wow, I guess those can be mechanics of the show. That's alright. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it felt like that was such a stupidly, like, broken power that when they, like, abused it, it felt like cheating almost.
A little, yeah.
Like, it didn't feel deserved. It's just like, just imagine during, like, the finale of, like, Kiramager, you know, like, how they're struggling. What if Lucky's like, I got a brilliant idea, whips out the Gemini, makes 1 million copies of himself, and just wins. Like, would you be going into that episode being like, oh man, he's such a genius for thinking about that? Or would you be thinking like, man, that is such a stupid mechanic in this show. Like, why was it even was it even in here in the first place? Like, they definitely like took out all the tension from that scene with Garza and the King that I honestly didn't like that part. Like I guess it was like some, quick thinking by Drew, but like, come on. Like, there's so much tension in this episode, and
I guess Juru would have to know that the arrow itself was made of a stone that the king could put his mind into.
Yeah.
Which they've never seemed like it, but like maybe the actual bow, but not the... Anyway, like, it was silly, but I didn't think too much about it.
They did use Mabushina's tears, and those tears made their weapons. I always thought that was a lower form of gem.
Yeah, it seems like the bow shoots energy, not like something physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I see. But I guess it does shoot out their armor. Is that enough of a stretch?
But it's transferred in like an energy, like, form. Like it's so much energy, then it condenses on their chest in the form of armor. And though that armor isn't really a gem, so
there's a gem on the armor.
Well, I haven't seen it enough times to remember.
If I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Well, I forgot, so let's not argue this anymore.
But hey, the episode itself presented very well. We still have that Ultraman director hanging around, and he was showing off. This was really good.
Yeah, that first combination mech and civilian fight was awesome.
Yeah.
It was some of the coolest shit I've seen in Sentai.
And like, we don't typically, if we have scenes like that, like a double layered scene, we don't usually have it interact with any, either or.
Yeah.
And then it just wiped the slate clean for the other one, and I thought that was really great. And they were really pushed to their limits here, because like, we had basically no one in some of the mechs. Like, I'm pretty sure Kiramager had no pilot, or was it
they had
Blue?
one pilot in each mech.
Right. And I'm glad that like default Green just gets the fast one. That makes me really happy.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and we typically don't. Sentai isn't really made to share with others for some reason, and this one is like, yeah, that's her mech. That's hers.
Yeah, I was like rewatching that scene, and like when they were setting that scene up in the first place, like I just saw like a bunch of the Muddites in that plaza. I'm just like, just walk around them. There's
Yeah.
multiple ways to get your location, but they're just like, nah, because we're gonna do this with that scene. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna shut up. That was spectacular.
Also, I love how once they got down to where they were going, they pointed their guns at it as if at the seed as if those were gonna do anything. And then she's like, "Drop your weapons. I have your friend." Your seed was fine. It took
Yeah.
all four mechs, and an extra one that just grew big.
Yeah,
to
a
take
new
it down.
power that they didn't know they had.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This felt, finale-ish. Cause like there was that ending scene where the king was just like, "Ah, yes, that was a wonderful mission. These are these people. This is what they all contributed." It felt like a basic, you know how in grade school you'd always get the, "Oh yes, if you want to make an essay, you have to make the paragraph sandwich." And then you just, your beginning, middle, and end, and in your conclusion, you have to refer back to everything that had just happened and then end strongly with something, This felt
I
like
don't.
he was reading off his conclusion statement to the paragraph that was this two-parter.
Now that this kind of reminds me of my college essays, where like my sandwich doesn't really have a lot of meat in it, but that conclusion, like, have these very lopsided essays, but the conclusion is so fat, and it's almost like I just shoved everything right in there, and that's what he was kind of like doing. But like it was a lot of flattery, so it wasn't like too dense. There's a lot of fluff.
Are you saying that your college essays were more like double downs, like KFC double downs, where the two meat patties were the wait, patties?
Oh yeah,
No,
oh
the
yeah,
bread.
definitely. Yeah.
Let's not forget that one paragraph that you had where you just decided to make shit up for about 5 minutes.
Oh
You
man.
start with a really cool paragraph, really well written. You made shit up for a little bit, and then strong finish.
Yeah. I mean, there's a cheese, there's a square of cheese there in the center. Some of it's good. This is a strange analogy, and it's taken over a Kiramager discussion.
You keep bringing it back to sandwiches.
Fair. Maybe I'm just
You
hungry.
keep trying to use a metaphor to explain another metaphor for the show. That's really not that hard to explain. It's
That's fair. No, you know what? That's fair. Maybe I just wanted to talk about sandwiches, Aerosol. Maybe I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Let's talk about something that isn't food then. Um,
Yo, Yodona like threatening Saya with a whip was just kind of dumb.
yeah,
She's like holding against her neck. She's like, "You better drop those weapons, or else I'll
I'll give her a
burn."
rope burn with my whip.
Yeah, and we've already established that she's not as physically strong as some of the other generals. So like, what? Just shoot her. I mean, I guess like she could like block with like Saya, but like even then, you can just like run at her, and she's probably gonna do anything about it. So I was kind of confused in that scene, and like,
I mean, she didn't do anything while a whole hand was slowly grabbing the seed out of the ceiling. Like, she didn't do anything.
I mean, what are you supposed to do at that point? The giant hand from the sky. Yeah, like that seemed kind of like random, but I guess that was fine.
I want to say one of my favorite ongoing bits throughout the course of this episode that actually didn't really have a resolution was the fact that Yellow kept blaming himself and no one told him otherwise. They're just like, look, that might be true. Anyway, we have to focus.
To be honest, I don't even know why he was blaming
Yeah.
himself.
There's no reason. It's just silly.
Like, I just assumed I missed a plot point, but then Drew, nice guy that he is, just like, forget about it. Like, I, as a Red Ranger, am letting you know that we don't care about that. So don't feel bad if you don't get it.
That was last week. We got a new plot now.
Like, why are you thinking so hard? It's a Sentai.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, good stuff. This was a good end.
Yeah.
And next week
This was a fun two-parter.
Yeah. You know, I've been saying this the whole time. The villain's plan, not good, very bad. But it served as like, well, the show took it as a really good challenge for the Rangers, and it felt like it at times, and it really made them struggle. And I thought that was interesting because these guys typically don't. And
Yo, you know what was bullshit though? When they were like doing the mech fight and they're like, you know, all lined up and stuff. And then Tom Tomo, the smartass, is all like, hey, you see that tiki mask? That giant ass shield that's deflecting bullets? So Scissors beats that. I was kind of waiting for the sword to just not slice it. And then I'm just being like, oh my god. And then he starts blaming himself. He's like, dude, we don't got time for your incompetence right now. Let's just shoot an eagle at it.
It would have been cool to see the eagle like fly through all three of them and then hit the seed. Because it really didn't make sense that it blew the seed right up. And then Smug Jokey was just like, well, I guess I'll turn into a train and leave now. Bye!
He was completely dumbfounded when it happened. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've talked this through enough. Do you guys have anything else before we move into comments?
No.
All right, cool. Let's take a look at our one and only comment that comes from Heroic Gangster, all the way from the Ultraman side, here in the Sentai team. Who says, yo, first time showing up in Super Sentai comment section. The glorious giant and human-sized together action scene with great visual effects was made by Kiyotaka Taguchi, the main director of Ultraman Z, and honestly makes me wish Ultraman Z would have had a scene like that. Yeah, I noticed that. Because, like, I remember someone last week had brought that up, and I was like, oh, did they follow that up with this two-parter? So I went to check, and yeah, that was the case, and they are doing really well. It's interesting that, like, for, you know, Sentai, who relies so heavily on their huge mecha for all their toy sales, they don't really focus in on the big battles as much, like the mech battles as much. So it's nice to really get the, you know, the focus there for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Are we good for this episode? Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I assume I'm lagging out because things are very choppy on my end. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought about, our thoughts about, your thoughts about this episode. And also, while you're down there, head on into the description. There is a link to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement by donating money, signing petitions, and watching videos, because in that link and in the end card there's a playlist to a bunch of videos that help support the Black Lives Matter movement. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Keep it.
Yeah, see you later.
You think they remembered to put Mabushina's mom back in the freezer?
By the way, how much was I cutting out? Because you look
You weren't cutting out. You were just behind with like 3 seconds. You took like 3 to 4 seconds just to respond back to us.
Really?
Yeah, but you're like you were